Hello my friends, this is alien contactee Linol Anderson here with you guys with a brand new YouTube BitChute video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how they've been poisoning us, okay? With AI and other things, nanotechnologies, because pretty much, they had their little campaign with the thing they wanted you to get, and a lot of people didn't want it, so they had to move on to other things because that failed. So we're going to look at how they're doing this in today's video, other ways besides that thing, and how none of us are safe, and how we could successfully remove this stuff. And also, we're going to be talking about how the pandemic treaty was just passed by World Health Organization, and we'll be looking at Disease X and what comes next with their agenda. So let's just get right into it. Before we do, I'm just going to encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button. As I say, subscribe to survive, and also smash the like button. Helps old Lionel out with the algorithms. So I want to start off by showing you guys this image here. I believe that was on the cover of The Economist. And as you can see, they have the new superhuman that's coming. The new human, and what's he holding? He's holding things that they wanted you to get. Which, it's so funny because they tried to tell us, oh, these don't change your DNA. That's just a conspiracy theory. Oh, there's no graphene oxide in them. That's just conspiracy theories. Well, then why are they putting this on their frickin' magazine cover, saying they're creating a new superhuman, and he's holding those things? See, they're just rubbing it in your face. But as I said, so many people didn't want to get them, and even the people who did get them, they stopped after the first 2 or maybe 3 shots. They didn't keep going with the boosters. Their plan fell apart, so they had to move to plan B to get all the people who refused to get it and the people who stopped taking their boosters. So how did they do this, my friends? Well, there's many ways. There's been evidence showing it's in food. It's probably in the water supply. It's definitely in the air that they've been spraying the chemtrails and whatnot. There's been found graphene oxide in that. Also, supplements, medications. We're finding graphene oxide everywhere. But there's also something that's been happening lately that I want to specifically look at today, and that is this mysterious fog that's been going around since 2024, carried into 2025 now, and people all around the world, it's happening all over Europe, United States, and they're getting sick with this fog, okay? And many say that there is, this AI nanotechnology in the fog, or the smart dust, as they call it. And my friends, there's evidence that this is exactly what's happening. So I wanted to show you a few videos. Take a look.
So you're telling me that an abnormal fog pops up all over the United States and is being reported in Europe as well, with these particles that are flying around that are not snow or moisture, have a chemical smell, and are leaving a white residue in some areas. And some people who have been exposed to the fog are falling ill with the same illness of inflamed sinuses, can't sleep, loss of appetite, and people think this is just a normal cold and flu and has nothing to do with this abnormal fog? Okay.
So I have seen no videos on this, so I'm just going to talk about it. The fog. That's right, people. This weird fog shit that has been around for days and is supposedly making people sick. Well, I feel like shit. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what it's looked like in Ohio for days, okay? I have also been getting progressively shittier feeling in the past days. If you guys are going through this and are seeing this, please let me know. Because I just find it really strange, okay, that I was completely fine and then all of a sudden this weather comes in and I feel like shit. Something's up, y'all. Like something is up. And what I feel is not normal. Like, I feel like my body is panicking. Like, it's going like alarm after alarm after alarm. It's not the flu. It's not a cold. I'm getting hot. I'm getting chills. I feel like I'm going to throw up every 10 minutes. America, tell me if you are going through this and if there is fog.
Something strange is going on here, folks. With this weird fog that everyone's seeing in different parts of the United States. over in the UK where it's just been lingering for 4 days. Is this potentially that smart dust technology, nano-sized particles of RFID chips that they did research into since the 90s? And are they rolling it out right now?
All right, there you go, my friends. And as you see, the guy did mention there something about smart dust. And I mentioned that before as well. So what is this smart dust? Well, I have a video on smart dust, so take a look.
It's a project first dreamed up by the military to get information from the battlefield.
They call it smart dust, and the new technology may soon make it possible to keep track of anything, anywhere, including you.
Smart dust originated with DARPA back in the 90s. This powder-sized chip is something called the Mu chip from Hitachi. It's the smallest commercially available RFID system in the world. You can literally scatter this stuff like dust or embed it into a sheet of paper. It doesn't require a battery. Flecks of computing power settling on your skin, ingested, monitoring you inside and out.
The nanoparticles are designed to go under the radar of the immune system, and so they are undetected in the body.
We have computing everywhere, we have connectivity everywhere, we have infrastructure that can compute those with new capabilities like AI.
If you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible.
Transhumanism is a growing movement that aims to use technology to modify our bodies, sometimes in radical ways to make them stronger, faster, and better.
There you go, my friends. That indeed looks like what we're dealing with here. And if you get caught out in this fog, you're getting a huge dose of it. And it's very interesting because there's a good researcher. His name is Mike Adams. He's known as the Health Ranger. I know many of you guys probably have followed him. Yeah, in the past he's been known to shield Trump, and he's friends with Alex Jones. But lately, he's been calling out Trump, which is good. So, you know, there might be hope for him yet. But he does have some interesting work, and he actually took a sample from the fog, from whatever residue it was leaving, okay? And take a look at that, what he said there. Okay, these things, he's keeping them in some kind of container or something. He's been looking at them through the microscope. They've hatched, my friends, and now they're growing, and it's pretty similar to what we see with the people who've taken the things that they want you to get. It's definitely this AI nanotechnology smart dust, okay? So it's a fact. That's what's going on here, okay? And even if you haven't experienced this fog or whatever like that, you're still at risk. Because like I said, they've put it in everything. And it's in the chemtrails. It's everywhere, okay? There's been evidence to show it's everywhere. So nobody's safe in that kind of way, all right? And it's crazy because, you know, you see so much predictive programming in movies like The Mist, right? Where some mist comes and then all these monsters start showing up in the mist or the fog and everything. And the reason that's happening is because this AI technology, smart dust, is in it. And someday these negative archonic entities are going to show up in the mist, okay? Because they can more easily manifest in that environment. So that's a whole nother topic for another video. I just wanted to point that out there, okay? That movies like The Mist, it's predictive programming. That Stephen King book and movies and the movie The Fog and all that, it's predictive programming. Because something like that is going to happen. Just to be aware of. But you guys are probably wondering, how the heck, Lionel, what are we going to do about this so we're not going to be infected with graphene oxide and other nanotechnologies? Well, detox is huge, my friends. We got to be detox machines, okay? And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to clean out the liver, my friends. So that's why we got Owelli's Liver Detox. And I know Lionel's trying to sell a product again, but this is all true. It's a fact that nanotechnology is detox through the liver, okay? But just the liver detox, which is great for the liver, that's not going to specifically remove all the graphene oxide and the nanotechnologies, but it's going to help cleanse stuff out. So the good news here is I've talked to the guy from Owelli, and we've come out with the liver detox protocol. And this protocol has 2 other ingredients, okay? The other one is alpha lipoic acid, And this raises your glutathione levels, okay? And glutathione has been shown to remove heavy metals and graphene oxide. And then berberine as well, which is just overall good for the liver. So I got a little commercial that I'm going to show you that I created myself that will give you more information on this protocol. And just know the link is in the description. You get 15% off. This is the way, my friends, because you're going to detox the liver, you're going to raise your glutathione levels to get rid of the graphene oxide, and then the berberine just to strengthen the liver all in all. So take a look at the commercial, and then we'll get back to more information about the pandemic treaty and what's coming next. Take a look.
Ever wondered why you're feeling constantly tired? Your liver could be the culprit. Hey there, health enthusiasts. Today we're talking about the unsung hero of our bodies, the liver. Think of it as your body's own detox machine, working tirelessly to filter out toxins and keep you energized. But over time, it can get overwhelmed. That's where Aweli Liver Detox Protocol comes in. This comprehensive 3-step solution is designed to supercharge your liver health and get you back to feeling your best. First up, we have the liver detox. Packed with natural ingredients like milk thistle and artichoke extract, it helps flush out toxins and rejuvenate liver cells. Then there's alpha-lipoic acid, or ALA. This powerful antioxidant not only protects your liver from oxidative stress, but also boosts your energy levels and glutathione levels, which detox heavy metals and nanotechnology such as graphene oxide. And last but not least, berberine. This gem helps regulate your metabolism, supporting healthy digestion and weight management. Together, these products form a dream team for your liver, tackling toxins, boosting energy, and optimizing metabolism. Imagine waking up refreshed with more energy, clearer thinking, and better digestion. That's the power of a healthy liver. If you use the link in the description, you will get 15% off and free shipping in the United States. So why wait? Try it now. Give your liver the reset it deserves and reclaim your vitality today. Visit aweli.com to learn more and start your journey towards better liver health.
All right, there you go, my friends. So, link is down below in the description. This is very serious stuff. You guys got to be detox machines. And yes, there's other things out there as well that could detox this stuff. But this is a great solution for sure. And you get to help support my channel and support your health. So it's a win-win situation. So definitely look into that. All right. So what's coming next, you may be asking? Well, my friends, unfortunately, have agreed and passed this pandemic treaty, something we did not want. It's taken them longer than expected, but the World Health Organization, along with over 100 countries, have all come to an agreement on how they're going to handle future pandemics. And, you know, there was some small victories in it, as in one of the terms of agreeing was that we have to have sovereignty, like nations will have sovereignty. Originally, they wanted to be like they could impose things, they want you to get mandates and whatnot, and the countries didn't have a say, you know, and they could call lockdowns whatever they want. Well, one of the things in the agreement was they don't have the power to do that, but many are saying they have loopholes in there that will allow them to do that, and that, you know, countries are going to listen to whatever they say anyways, certain countries anyways, but there are some things in there. So I'm going to show you a video about the latest news on that, and then we're going to talk about how this new disease X, what they're planning, is going to happen. So take a look at the video first.
The World Health Organization adopted its first international pandemic agreement during the 78th World Health Assembly in Geneva on Tuesday to bolster global cooperation in preventing and responding to future pandemics. The agreement outlines measures to enhance surveillance and ensure equitable access to vaccines and treatments following the uncoordinated global response to COVID-19. 124 countries voted in favor, while 11 abstained. The accord was touted as a gift to the world by the WHO Director General. Notably, the United States did not participate in the treaty, having withdrawn from the WHO under the Trump administration, criticizing the body as moribund.
How vulnerable are we in the event of another pandemic, and how effective will this new agreement be?
Well, we live in a time of immense vulnerability to diseases. The next pandemic could happen anytime. Due to population growth, the global flow of people and goods, the destruction of ecosystem, and global warming. I welcome the adoption of this agreement. Many countries with different interests and challenges all had to come together and put in great effort to make this agreement happen. But this is the only first step toward improving our global pandemic response. Ratification could take a very long time, and even once it's implemented, it's not a silver bullet.
The report contains one resolution to adopt the WHO Pandemic Agreement entitled Draft Resolution on the WHO Pandemic Agreement. Is the Assembly ready to adopt this resolution? I see no objection. The resolution is adopted.
Last night, you approved it. 124 member states voted in favor and none against. And today, we celebrate. Today, you have sent a loud message that multilateralism not only works, but is the only way to find shared solutions to shared threats. Let's not understate what you have achieved. You have made the world a safer place. I repeat, a safer place. It will not infringe on national sovereignty in any way, nor give the WHO Secretariat power to impose mask or vaccine mandate or lockdowns. Anyone who says it will is clearly mistaken. You, the member states, have made that very clear in the text of the agreement itself. Your adoption this morning of the WHO pandemic agreement will rank among the most significant achievements in the history of this organization and of global health.
And the World Health Organization approving a groundbreaking treaty on pandemic preparedness. 124 countries backed the agreement, requiring pharma companies reserve 20% of production for pandemic treatments. The treaty won't take effect until countries finalize pathogen sharing protocols.
Lockdown is written throughout the treaty, not the exact words, but what we do see is that we see that the definition of a pandemic, and this is reflected also in the parallel international health regulations which go hand in hand with this, the definition of a pandemic now includes that a pandemic necessarily includes by definition a whole of society and whole of government approach to responding to the virus. Now that, of course, whole of society, whole of government, that is exactly what we saw in the pandemic. That's no accident, and that is code for lockdowns and everything that we saw during COVID. And that's now written into the definition of a pandemic which the Director General of the World Health Organization has the sole discretion to call, and more than that, to call not just when there's a disease that's actually causing illness and hospitalizations and death, but just when he thinks that there is a risk, just a risk of one in his sole discretion and opinion. So we now have really, and that's all written into this treaty, into the international health regulations that go with it. So we've really seen a ramping up of the powers of the World Health Organization.
All right, there you go. So you guys may be saying, "Oh, I'm from the United States, and Trump didn't sign on. Oh, Trump must be a good guy, so the United States is safe." And okay, I think the only reason Trump didn't sign on, it's a psychological operation, because if he did, there might be a little too much pushback by the Americans who still have their guns and whatnot, so they don't want people pushing back. So, oh yeah, he didn't sign, so nothing to worry about, nobody panic. But never forget, who originally called the original lockdowns? Trump did. Who takes full credit for the thing they wanted you to get? Trump did. Who still takes full credit for it, brags about how proud he is of it? Who announced on his second day of office in this term that he's working on more mRNA things they want you to get for cancer? Who did that? Oh, it's Trump. So if you think a guy who went along with it last time, when there was no pandemic tree, but he still went along with it, and he's still pushing those things, still refuses to say anything bad about it. If you think a new thing's going to be launched and he's just going to, you think you're safe? You're not. He went along with it last time because he's part of the club. He's going to go along with it again. So don't think that you're all safe and you're in the clear, okay? He's very proud of those things. Many of the people who are on his administration have direct ties to making those things. J.D. Vance is involved with companies that are involved with making mRNA gene therapies. So does Vivek Ramaswamy and many other people, like Susan Wiley and all that, connected to Big Pharma. They are all for it, okay? So don't think you're in the clear, America. Next pandemic, he will go along with it, regardless if he's with that or not, okay? Never trust the government, okay? So what is it going to be? A lot of talk that, it might be the bird flu. They're really pushing the bird flu crap. Who knows what's going to come out, okay? But one thing I can tell you, whatever it is, it's not going to be what they're telling you it is, okay? It's not going to be a virus like they're telling you. What is it more likely to be? It's more likely to be what it was this last time. And every time there's been a pandemic in the past 100 years. And what's that? It's due to electromagnetic frequencies and fields that are being emitted by certain technologies, okay? And you may be saying, Lionel, what are you talking about? I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about right now. Because now we're going to be reading a little bit from David Icke's new book, The Reveal, okay? Because he laid it out, what happened last time and all the other times and what's going to happen shortly and what really is behind these sicknesses. And obviously, the thing that they want you to get is going to play a role as well, and it's going to make things even worse with whatever they're trying to do. But we're going to see how this is all related to 5G and the coming 6G, okay? So, and I know a lot of people, I can control your position. Okay, I don't want to hear it, okay? You could think whatever you want to think. I personally don't think that, but all you people saying that probably never even read one of his books. You don't even know what he speaks about. This man is spot on with a 99% of what he says. So save your egoic, thoughts on whatever you feel about him. Just listen to the information, okay? Because this information is spot on, and many great researchers have talked about this, and there's evidence of it. So I don't want to hear it in the comment sections, and if you guys do, well, I can't stop you, but it's kind of annoying, when this man's done such great work. But anyways, let's just go to see what he has to say. I do recommend this book to anybody who really wants to learn what's going on in the world and in the afterlife, reincarnation, soul trap. It's a great read, especially if you've never read one of his books before. But even if you have written one of his books, it's still great. So I'm going to be reading to you guys a little 2 pages worth, and he's going to be telling you exactly what's been going on here, okay? So, polluting the field. Says, I have written over the years about the connection between technology's impacts on the Earth's electromagnetic field and the outbreak of disease. Exposure to intense electromagnetic fields, EMFs, was known way back to cause flu-like symptoms. I highlighted in my Ovid, I have to say Ovid, but it starts with a C. I don't want to trigger algorithms. So every time you hear me say Ovid, that's what I'm referring to. He said, I highlighted in my Ovid exposure book, The Answer, the work of the scientist and journalist Arthur Furstenberg, author of The Invisible Rainbow, A History of Electricity and Life. He wrote in 2018, before the Ovid hoax, that every time we have dramatically changed the properties of the Earth's magnetic field, dramatic effects on health have followed. Every influenza epidemic since electricity was introduced had coincided with a new and more powerful level of electromagnetic radiation. Furstenberg cites that the 1918 Spanish flu, which was said to have infected an estimated 500 million people worldwide and killed at least tens of millions. Well, a mass, program preceded this outbreak at the end of the First World War. Austrian molecular biology researcher Jaroslav Belsky said, an orgy of things they wanted you to get, took place for the soldiers of the war. In 1918, up to 36 things they wanted you to get took place with no rules at all. It happens just before the Spanish flu appeared in different places at the same time. Medical historians confirm today it was a thing they want you to get. Disaster. Oh, history just keeps repeating itself, doesn't it? There's also a credible connection to electromagnetism. Furstenberg said the Spanish flu began at military naval bases in America and Europe that were the first to install high-intensity radars. The original 400 cases of Spanish flu were at the Naval Radio School in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Common symptoms of this flu were bizarrely nosebleeds, internal bleeding in the brain and lungs, and problem with blood coagulation. This is not the flu. They are effects that can result from electromagnetism impacting on the human electromagnetic organizing field, or auric mind. Doctors were quoted as saying they had yet to receive a case report which didn't include prolonged blood coagulation. Arthur Furstenberg explains how Spanish flu followed the locations and patterns of radar introduction worldwide when global travel was a fraction of what it is today. He said that Asian flu arrived in 1956-1957 when the world was bathed in a new and powerful radar waves. Hong Kong flu swept across the world in 1968, only months after the first radiation-emitting satellite system was activated. Internal hemorrhage was again a factor. Ovid is supposed to have begun in Wuhan, capital of China's Hubei province, in 2019. Wuhan was China's first 5G smart city, with 5G antenna installed in massive numbers from October 2019. Vodafone, Italy, made Milan an extensive 5G testbed, working in concert with Italy's Ministry of Economic Development. Milan is in the Lombardy region, which was the center of the Italian Ovid outbreak. And both Lombardy and Wuhan were subject to mass, programs before the pandemic. Did the connect people to 5G transmissions and amplify them? Spanish biologist Bartomeu Pierres Cifra, a specialist in microbiology at the University of Barcelona, reported a preliminary study in April 2020 about connections between Ovid and 5G. He did not allege a cause and effect. He said that it did reveal how major virus countries and regions corresponded with 5G installation, and that a failure to act in the face of the findings of this study could be considered negligent at the very least, and very possibly criminal. A study of American states by Dr. Magda Havas, Associate Professor of Environmental and Resource Studies at Trent University in Ontario, Canada, found a similar correlation. Billions were locked down, and anything other than essential work that involved travel was banned. 5G towers that appeared all over the UK during lockdown were considered essential work. Now Musk and his fellow tech billionaires are firing 5G at us from space. I am not saying and never have said that Ovid can totally be explained by 5G. I said that 5G electromagnetic fields could produce the flu-like symptoms attributed to Ovid. Manipulation of death certificates and a test not testing for the virus must be added into the mix, along with mass murder using drugs including midazolam and remdesivir. What's clear is that when a significant change happens in the Earth's electromagnetic field, there is always a physical response until the body synchronizes with the new energetic environment. Some die and others energetically recalibrate, Ricardo Delago said. When there is a new alteration of the environment, some survive, resist, and others die, as they do in nature, except this does not correspond to nature. It is a new artificial alteration of the environment. There isn't, within the concept of epigenetics, the body responding to environmental change and adaptation through the rapid modulation of genes. What is done precisely is to go to the place to what we erroneously know as the virus or co-virus, I don't want to say the whole name, which is only a readaptation of our DNA by a protein synthesis when it is being subjected and irradiated, in this case with a new wavelength that is not the normal fabric, the natural solar one, for example. Okay? So, almost done here, my friends. Remember what I wrote earlier about the body's electromagnetic self-organizing field, which controls our biological processes. If the field changes, the body must change. It hardly takes a genius to see that the body field must be disrupted when new electromagnetic frequencies are artificially introduced. It doesn't take a genius to see it. It takes an idiot not to see it. Unfortunately, the gopher level of authority abounds with idiots and non-player characters. Staggeringly, shockingly, breathtakingly, I still see experts, and those among us in the public masses who believe experts that the millions of times increase in technological radiation in the atmosphere since I was growing up in the 1950s is having no effect on electromagnetic humans. This is a form of insanity. Arthur Furstenberg highlights the millions of frequencies and pulsations that confuse our cells and organs and dim our nervous systems, be we humans, elephants, birds, insects, fish, or flowering plants. The pulsations pollute the earth beneath our feet, surround us in the air through which we fly, course through the oceans in which we swim, flow through our veins and our meridians, and enter us through our leaves and our roots. The planetary transformer that used to be gentle, the solar wind, now agitates in flames. And one thing I thought I'd add in here is that some natural things are happening, or natural, who knows, maybe it's not, I don't know, but it does appear some things with the sun's magnetic field is happening as well. We know the Earth's magnetic field is weakening because of what's going on with the sun as well. So if you take that and combine it with what they're doing, or if it's connected somehow, well, yeah, no wonder why everybody's getting sick and dying and everything, and things are getting so crazy and chaotic, okay? No doubt. So, it's very interesting. David Icke also said in another part of the book that what they're doing, as they go on to introduce 5G, 6G, 7G, the plan is to make it so humans eventually will just die out. Their bodies won't be able to handle all these big changes, except for the humans that do accept their AI technology and don't do their detoxing and whatnot like that. Many will die from that, but there will be a select few who get connected to the AI and become these synthetic human beings. Their bodies might change to be able to adapt to all these changes so they can live in this new environment. But keep in mind, millions, if not billions, won't be able to adapt to those changes and will die, as we've been seeing. And it's only a small amount of people who will be able to survive that. But still, for me, I don't care. I don't want to become a synthetic human. I don't want to be reconnected to the AI, because who knows how many more lifetimes I'll have to spend here. And if they get their way and eventually connect you to the cloud, you might never escape this simulation. So for me, I personally choose to continue detoxing. It's got to be a personal choice if you want to connect to AI or detox. And who knows, if you keep your vessel clean, does that mean in the coming years you will eventually, your physical body won't be able to handle what they're doing here, and you will have a death experience, but then be able to leave the simulation? Well, my friends, we all got to leave the physical body at some point, right? If you remain in the physical body, you remain in the simulation, right? So just be aware, this is something you have to make your own decision. For me, I choose to detox, and I choose not to connect to the AI, and if I lose this body, so be it. But I do also feel that I think we are a lot more difficult to kill than what they think. And I do think that many of us on the spiritual awakening path are going down a more positive timeline, and we are absorbing high frequencies coming from beyond the simulation. Kundalini activations, and I have a feeling we're still going to be okay and be able to go down a better timeline, and our bodies will adjust to whatever they're doing. I do believe consciousness could overpower it, but just something to be aware of. So what comes next then? If all this is connected to all the pandemics we've seen, if you look at, he just gave a few examples. I've seen the examples of every single thing in the past 100 years of sicknesses that went around. It all had to do with introductions of new technologies. So what comes next? Well, we'll go back to the David Icke book, just read a little segment here, nothing like what we just read, just a little bit here. He's saying pretty much that what comes next, and I just researched it, it's being introduced this year, my friends, 2025, and it's the updated 5G, okay? 26 gigahertz. Let's read what it says here. And as you all well know, in our country as well as in other parts of Europe and the world, 26 gigahertz is the next frequency to be admitted, high band 5G. It's already been put out to tender in many countries, so like tests, right? And this will lead to the next pandemic, and they're already cooking it up to some extent. So I just looked it up in Canada. They're starting it this month, little tests and whatnot. And who knows, maybe by the end of 2025, this new frequency is going to be launched, 5G, 26 gigahertz and beyond. So we'll see if it has the desired effect. If you guys start hearing more about bird flu or maybe new Ovid strains or more sicknesses, you'll know it's the new 5G. But what's very concerning is 6G. That's going to be a big one. And right now they're saying 6G is going to be fully launched by 2030. But they're going to be doing beta testing and stuff as soon as 2028, even some places 2026. More places will start 2028 though, and by 2030 it's expected to be worldwide and rolled out. And you better believe they have something huge planned for that. Okay, my friends? So for me, personally, I choose to detox. I choose to keep my vessel as healthy as can be, because the more healthy your vessel is, the better you're going to be able to handle the radiation, the electromagnetic radiation that's coming in, whatever poisons they're putting in us that make us more sick, whether it's through the food or the nanotechnology and all that. The more healthy and clean and pure your vessel is, not just eating right and detoxing, but also going to the gym. I'm a gym junkie now. Keeping yourself at the best health that you can, that's going to really help you, so you're not one of these poor people who's going to croak, okay? And that you will be able to keep on that spiritual path and go down that spiritual timeline. Because as negative as this all seems, there is positive things going on. Those of us who are on a true spiritual path raise our frequency through love and able to destroy the ego mind virus, be in the now moment, and realize this is all illusion. Our frequencies will rise, we will be divinely protected, and we'll go down a totally different timeline than those going down the AI life path, 3D timeline reset, and going into the new simulation, becoming robo-sapiens and all that. I do believe we will be guided to the exit of this simulation one way or another, okay? And so try to stay positive. If that's the path you want to take, do your best to raise your frequency, keep your vessel pure, and just become the best version of yourself. An update, I did speak to the guy from Owelly, and he's actually coming up with a protocol in the near future for electromagnetic frequencies. So we'll have something in the near future that will be able to help you detox from all these frequencies as well, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Share it with your friends. This is an important video, okay, my friends? And if you enjoyed my work, you could, buy old Linol coffee. That's right, I'm on the website, Buy Me a Coffee. But guess what? I changed it to Buy Me an Ice Cream, okay? It was Buy Me a Burger, now it's Buy Me an Ice Cream, because guess what? It's getting nice out. It's getting to be summertime, and, I feel like an ice cream cone now, and of course, I only eat organic, the best ice creams around, so don't worry about that, my friends. But yeah, in all seriousness, you can help chip in to support the channel. It helps me to continue to bring you guys these videos. The link to that is down below in the description, alright? And of course, I always like to give back to those who choose to help support the channel. I will send free Patreon videos to your email, alright? But, of course, what means the most to old Lionel is just you guys hitting that subscribe button, smashing the like, and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about today's video. Alright, my friends? So that's it. Until next time, you guys take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and that's it. Lionel signing off.